Right now, following the attempted assassination, I can't even believe I'm saying that, by the way, of former President Donald Trump, it's just become blatantly, it's clear. Proper security is absolutely vital to keep people safe in this country. I mean, it's hard enough to track, catch these domestic extremists seeking to cause harm to Americans at all levels, not just our leaders, but everyone. But in addition to that, law enforcement at the border they're completely inundated with illegal migrants, many of whom are on the terrorist watch list. They're in those screening databases. So what are we doing about that?
I don't know. Well, let's ask our experts, shall we? These people, we need to learn about who the people are that are doing this. We have the Republican-led House Homeland Security Committee subpoenaing Alejandro Mayorkas. He now must provide the data by July 19 detailing migrants suspected of terrorism that were encountered at the border. Joining us now to discuss this further is Newsmax contributor and author of Terrorists on Our Border and in Our Country, Charles Marino, as well as the president of the Crime Prevention Research Centre and author of Gun Control Myths, John Lott Jr. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today on this incredibly important news day that we have. Charles, why is this information important to Congress about the migrants that we are seeing coming over the border, especially in light of this attack that we saw yesterday? Can it be used to stop potential terrorist attacks like this one, despite the fact that we need to make this clear, this was an American citizen who did this?
No, that's right. I mean, look, as if we don't have enough threats right here from within the country, this administration decides to bring even more threats over the south and northern border from 180 different countries, none of which we can thoroughly vet. We know this. We've got many examples of criminals and suspected terrorists coming in. You've got a Department of Homeland Security that continues to play a shell game with the numbers. You had the president stand up on stage last week and say the numbers are down 50%. No, the numbers aren't down 50%. They're just manipulating all of the legal pathways as they have for the past 3.5 years. Asylum, parole, they're just letting everybody in. So none of these programs have any meaning anymore. And they've made the country a lot more dangerous place, as if it wasn't dangerous enough already.
No, I think you summed it up perfectly, Charles. We have enough violent criminals in our country. We don't need to import more. But let me go to you, John Lott Jr. You saw the scene last night. Is this not a wake-up call for every American, for every leader, for the Supreme Court justices? We need to do a better job. And the open border is just going to continue to make it that much more possibly impossible.
Right. I mean, look, even for the ones that they're checking, they have an average of 1.5 minutes to spend checking the people who turn themselves in. That doesn't count the almost 2 million so-called gotaways that we have, that we see, but then we don't catch. It doesn't count the maybe millions of others in a third category that we never even see. I mean, 90% of the border agents have been pulled off their normal work to go and monitor the border and have instead been processing people. And then Mayorkas, a couple months ago, acknowledged that many of the electronic passive systems that we have to monitor people have been down. He won't even tell Congress how much of that is not functioning. But even for the ones that they do so-called vet, and as was just said by Charles, we've had people who have been released into the country that have criminal records, that murdered people in other countries, right, that they so-called vetted.
Well, it is terrifying state of affairs.
After all the training I've had police training, Marine Corps training, FBI training, you can't fight what you can't see and don't know exists. And we don't even know who's in our country right now. So we have to leave it there. Great insight. Charles Marino, John Lott Jr., thank you so much for being with us here at Wake Up America Weekend on such an important news day. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right, up next, President Biden personally calling former President Trump after the assassination attempt at yesterday's rally. On X, Biden condemned the attack and called for America to unite. We'll have more on that next. You're watching Wake Up America Weekend.